Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I'm hoping that we'll have maybe some more people drifting in as they finish their drinks and their chats. But thank you to you who are here and are eager to hear about the comprehensive plan in Ethiopia. It's a real privilege to have Tesfaye here. He's a lecturer of practical theology at the Ethiopian Graduate School of Theology. And he was the national manager of the Ethiopian Comprehensive Plan for Bible Translation from 2010 to 2016. So speaking from great personal experience about what happened and the successes that came from it. He's a member of the International Board of the Work of the World. We're really pleased to have you here. We welcome you to come and share with us what you have for us.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. It's good to have you all here. Thank you for coming. What I'm going to share is a story of what happened. It's a joint effort. That means every one of you can claim and be part of it. It's a story which started with Vision 2025, when the vision was displayed, and then it was embraced and accepted by Ethiopian church leaders and missionaries, and then they went ahead and mobilized the church. And so today we are able to share what has happened. Everybody was part of it. You know, Ethiopian church leaders, missionaries from different parts of the world. That means Americans, Germans, Norwegians, Australians, Romanians were also there. So everybody was there. And so that's a success story that what I'm going to share with you is what has happened as a result of the vision that our predecessors 25 years back envisioned. So I think this is the outline of my presentation. I'm assuming you all know Vision 2025, and I'll speak about the Ethiopian context and the partnership and some ethical stances that guided the partnership, and then lessons learned. Vision 2020, I'm sure, I see those who envisioned Vision 25 then, so it's good to have those who have seen it 25 years back, a Bible translation project in progress for everybody, and for those who need it. And so the Ethiopian church leaders took it, and that was what they envisioned, and that was what was owned, and that's how it all went well. This is a map of Ethiopia, the second largest population in Africa, more than a population of 130 million. As you can see, we are diverse. We have everybody in the group. We have people with different color as well as different stature. So we are a diverse community, and that's who we are. And the Bible translation history in Ethiopia, some of you may know that we claim to have the oldest translated gospel today in the world. Okay, this is something which was proven by carbon dating a transcript or a script from the Garima Gospel. Garima is a Syrian missionary who came to Ethiopia, and then he translated the Bible, the Gospels. So the Garima Gospels today are, according to carbon dated days, the oldest existing translated surviving Gospel manuscript. And again, in terms of history, I assume all of you know the story of Acts chapter 8, where an Ethiopian statesman heard the gospel from the Apostle Philip, and then by the 4th century, there was a documented history of Christianity in Ethiopia, and the Bible was translated in the 5th and 6th century in the language known as Ge'ez or Ethiopic, which is the liturgical language of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. But by 2008, when after the Vision 2025, 7 years after, there were 36 languages which are no script, and out of those, 27 were accepted by the group to Ethiopian church leaders to go ahead with Vision 2025. So in Ethiopia, the Bible historically has been central in shaping the cultural and political inspiration. This is not new to Ethiopia. You all know very well, you know, in different places, according to different writers, the Bible has shaped cultures and people's a way of life and so on. So you see these scholars who have written and spoken about how the Bible has shaped communities, and in Ethiopia, that's again true. And also we have stone scripts from earlier centuries where the Bible was translated through Ethiopian script, and we have stone scripts which demonstrate that it has really shaped the culture. And then we have different translations. The first translation was revised in the 14th century, and then after, in the 16th century, we have part of the Gospels published in Rome, again, in Amharic. The first one was in Greece, in Ethiopic language, and then by early 19th century, in 1824, we have a full translation of the Bible to the working language, Amharic. This was providentially done in Cairo by an Ethiopian priest, supported by a French linguist. That's how God does his work, as we all know. And then in the late 19th century, we have the Bible translated to other Ethiopian languages as well, Afan Oromo in 1999, a language spoken by many people in Ethiopia, the largest group, and then in Tigrinya in 1956, and then in other languages later. Language is an important part of Ethiopian life. Again, this is not something new, but quite often in Ethiopia, it's an area where there's a lot of conflict because of language. I don't know if it's unique to us. It's not unique to us, actually. It's a factor in different places where it triggers different conflicts. And but in UNESCO labels it as an area of linguistic crisis because of serious problems and pressures by dominant languages, as well as a combination of language and ethnicity remains a major factor that fuels conflicts where we have serious problem at present as well. And this is an Ethiopian historian who describes how Ethiopians feel about the contribution of language in their communities. And actually, this is a historian who's accepted to be today the doyen of Ethiopian historians, a prominent guy who heads and who has conducted significant research, and he picks and tells us really the reality that language is a major factor which continues to shape the way people react and act, and again, because of various views. It's a major factor that contributes to conflict, sadly. But again, that's not something new. A century back, a popular guy, philosopher, Bertrand Russell, has also spoken about the causal interaction of organism and environment. Again, the effort done by people to preserve their structure pushes them to have conflict with others. So this is a man who is very strongly speaking against Christianity, but I'm using him because he has something to contribute to language. Already we have heard about Lam Nesan, so we all know him very well, and he explains language being a living expression of culture and also the visible texture of life. That's again true, and probably that's why it also becomes a major factor. We have a lot of conflict because of language, which is also an expression of culture itself as well. I'm here sharing a paradox to give you a context about Ethiopia. An old nation, a Christian kingdom, but over the 20th century, we have more martyrs than any other African country, according to this group from America, the Voice of Martyrs, who do research on collecting the story of martyrs. So it's a paradox. How can a Christian nation that claims to have an ancient Christian kingdom still have more Christian martyrs than any other African country? Doesn't make sense, but that's what happened. Again, after an old monarchy was toppled down and deposed, we had a communist government for 17 years, and you all know Patrick Johnston. And this is at his statements, where communism lasted for 17 years, but the church became stronger out of communism. Again, that's not new, that's part of church history. That has happened repeatedly in different places. But what we learn is a paradox and why it happened. So a British political scientist describes what has happened in terms of the martyrs, and religion has been an expression of identity in Ethiopia, and so that's why we have this tension. And all of those were backgrounds for the Ethiopian Comprehensive Plan, where church leaders as well as missionaries came together and established a partnership to go ahead with a partnership, a fraternal partnership actually. And that's what has happened. You know, the focus was on 27 languages that had more than 10,000 speakers each, and the coalition was built. And then there was a preparation, pre-implementation phase, and the first cycle of implementation. This is a story worth sharing because it's a success story, because of the effort that everybody has come. The target was achieved, actually, more than even the intended time. The gospel translation started in 27 languages that was intended, and now more are in the group. So the factors for that success are the leadership commitment, the context in the season, and also the history, the background, which was a fertile ground for fraternal partnership. The church was engaged, you know, with all things that you know, accountability, broad-based relationship, again setting goals, and again honesty, genuineness, and again models of humility and mutuality. All of those were in place, and this was the date where an agreement was signed. The ethical stance, the MOU, that was an important. These are the goals of the project. That means literacy, Bible translation, and scripture use. So 6 organizations started. Each one brought their strengths, and that's how it worked, with a structure set, the board, regional, national, again as clusters in the region, and also the local churches involved. Because of our unique context, we have to bring the project really as an ecumenical venture. That means the Orthodox, the Catholics, the Evangelical, the Protestants have to work together. That's how it works for us. Otherwise, it will not work. So that's why we need this broad-based, and we have many celebrations where the traditional communities as well as the clergy came together, because that's a language that belongs to all of them. So we all celebrate together. So this picture shows that celebration. And we all know the benefits of partnership. We succeeded because of the partnership, because we were all together and we went with it together, and ensuring local ownership and then sustainability and unity, and again better advocacy because of the common unity, and every organization bringing their own strengths to the group. That's how it works. Obviously, we have our own challenge, but by God's grace and leadership, we were able to navigate the terrain of the challenge, and that's why we have something to contribute. I'm quoting here an old man, I don't know who he is now, Dr. John Holman. This is a statement that he made, a Dutchman. He was the SIL Africa area director, and when we were under a very serious challenge, and he came just to visit us, and this is, I'm quoting him, this is his statement. He understood the importance of the partnership and said we must maintain the integrity of the partnership, and we did maintain that. And again, this was the prerequisite for the success of partnership. At the center, you see ethical governance structure, which was coined according to an agreed memorandum of understanding, where everybody respected that agreement. When somebody wants to go out, then they have to be pulled back. And when we talk about cultural sensitivity, we are not only talking about the community, we are also talking about organizational cultural sensitivity. Each organization has their own organizational culture, and we need to be sensitive in our partnership in terms of bringing those groups together, and then encouraging adherence of everybody in the group. So the code of conduct really articulates clearly in the memorandum of understanding. So that was a tool which helped to protect the unity, again aligning everybody in the common goal and ensuring inclusivity. And again, there are provisions in the memorandum of understanding. So the wisdom was maximizing on everybody's strengths, not focusing on somebody's weakness. So that was very helpful. And mutuality and transparency were very, very important. Again, there are very important lessons learned. the reason that we need to document this is, if we are together, we can really make it happen. That's the message that we need to learn. That means some bring strength from language development side, some bring strength from mother tongue translation, and others bring the whole of ecumenical background, the Orthodox, the Catholic Church, I mean the Bible Society brings them. So that's how we were able to work together. So that was important. And using the local church as an entry point was very important, because the local churches are linked to the community. Again, engagement of language communities is very important. We all know that, but we really should make it happen. That means they should own it, they should be part of it, and they should make a decision. So that's how it works. That means bringing all of us together. When we are all together, really, we can make it happen. That's what we learned from the Ethiopian experience. Again, another person from the seed company, he made a statement. He saw the importance of the partnership, and he said, it is an opportunity. And it isn't really an opportunity. It was an opportunity. It's not that everybody understood, took it as an opportunity. It's possible. Some others looked as a threat. But he saw it as an opportunity, and it worked. And that's why a decade later, we could say we have started Bible translation in all of the 27 languages we planned for, according to what the Ethiopian church leaders learned from the meeting where I think it happened somewhere else in Thailand. That's what really happened. And we have many celebrations. This is one of the celebrations, which is at the end, when it happened, when it was all communicated by the community, we had an opportunity to celebrate it as a public event. So it's not usual for Ethiopian evangelicals to celebrate such events in a public hall. But this happened because it was owned by the community. When the community comes together, when everybody is in the club, then it's possible for us to do the work as well as for us to celebrate together. So this is an important celebration, this is a celebration in the Sudanese border, in a place where there is really maybe a decade or 15 years back was labeled as by National Geographic as one of the 3 most primitive states in the whole world. But the translators were there, the Bible was translated, it was available, and it was a public event where the community owned it, and it was celebrated. So that all happened because of the fraternal partnership. I hope you know it. I'm not only talking about partnership, there can be fraternal partnership, but we are talking about fraternal partnership, where we all respect each other, accept each other, and are willing to put ourselves in the same shoes as each other so that we can all move ahead together. Yes, there are challenges to it. Yes, there are problems to it, but together, if we really respect each other, if we have fraternal partnership, we can succeed and we can make it happen. That's what has happened in the Ethiopian Comprehensive Plan. And I still remember the day when 7 years after the first Vision 2025, some who have attended this meeting came and shared the story, and it was embraced by everybody, including the church leaders from all different groups, and it was taken forward, and the rest is history. So that has happened because God was in it, and people listened to God, and they obeyed, and they were willing to go ahead with humility and genuine fraternal partnership. Thank you very much for being part of this, as well as I have to appreciate those who have gone to eternity, who have shared this vision with Ethiopian Church, and who have seen it happen. And there are some also who made the initial plan, but now we are able to share this success story because of really what has happened, because of the common work which was done together by all. So when we are all together, we can really make things happen, and that's what has happened. Thank you very much. I'm really glad to share this story. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing with us, Tesfaye. Let's have we've got a good amount of time now for some questions to probe a little deeper. Who has something they would like to ask or to share with Tesfaye after that?
Here from Iran, the word for the world. Tesfaye, of course, you are affiliated with the Word for the World, and you're aware that the Word for the World was established by Cobus and Janet Van Aswegen in the 90s, and now is managed and directed completely by Ethiopians. And not only that, but the Ethiopian National Director is now Director for North Africa and starting new projects all over North Africa. I think it's 190 projects, is the last number that I heard. And so that's wonderful to hear. And from what you presented now, I sense that the Word for the World, together with other partners like SIL, WICLIF, etc., are in an equal partnership. Maybe you could just emphasize a little bit or highlight what the strengths are that you perceive that the Word for the World is bringing to the table, unique strengths that the Word for the World is bringing to the table.
Thank you very much. As I rushed, every organization brought their strengths. So one of the success stories was mother tongue translators. And when we talk about the 6 organizations who started the Ethiopian partnership, we have SIL, we have the Word for the World, and we have the Ethiopian Bible Society, and the Evangelical Church Fellowship, and 2 churches. And then later, other organizations, WICLIF Ethiopia, as well as the Commission joined. When we say every organization brought their strengths, obviously, when a new project is started, what happens is the language development work is best done by SIL. They have the expertise and so on. And then training mother tongue translators is best done by the Word for the World. So, and bringing on board the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, a very strong organization, a very strong machinery that's done through the Bible Society. So that's how everybody brought their strengths to the partnership, and then we worked together. And the Word for the World brought special expertise on mother tongue translators training. Actually, to answer your question straightly, the Word for the World has the largest number of translation projects among those very large organizations. And so that's how we work together. And sitting together and working together was an opportunity for everybody to join their strengths and then go ahead and make this happen. So that's the strength. That was why it was an important learning opportunity. And in terms of the learnings, that was one of the learnings that we have learned from this partnership.
Do you want to go back to that slide and just show us again the one about everyone bringing their strengths?
Yeah.
Is there another question? Yes, thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. Would you comment on the challenge a little bit, on the main challenge that was faced by this partnership?
Thank you very much, Ephraim. Intentionally, I didn't want to talk about the challenge. But what I did was I recognized that we had challenge, but together with prayer, we were able to navigate the challenge. Obviously, as you know very well, bringing together very large organizations which are diverse, with their own history, with significant organizational politics and strong personalities which have got their own interests as well. You know, all of those really, you know, those are all the challenges. But naturally, I focused on the leadership commitment, which was able to navigate those challenges, and the fraternal partnership, where it doesn't mean that there were no ox in the group. You know, there are people who want to pull it on the other side, but luckily there are others who want to bring it back and want to balance. Yes, we have tremendous challenges, but despite the challenge, we were able to make happen what was planned. So that's why we are sharing what really happened. Actually, challenges are part of ministry, as we all know, and especially in partnership, you know, where there is competition for various resources, organizational politics, power struggle, all of those are visible and available challenges. But the beauty is, you know, if we are together, if we respect each other, we can go ahead and progress despite the challenges. Thank you.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
So you've been talking about the comprehensive plan process, and I remember back in those days, that was the thing that Wycliffe was talking about a lot, was comprehensive planning. And today, Wycliffe is talking a lot about church-based Bible translation. That's the main emphasis. I'm wondering what you could be telling us from your experience of working with a comprehensive plan that would be giving good advice to people working in church-based Bible translation.
Thank you very much. I'm a church officer and I didn't focus on the church engagement. I know maybe a quarter of a century back or 2 decades back, there were many people who were cynical about the engagement of churches in Bible translation. And I still, you can still hear some who think the churches are reluctant to engage in Bible translation. I recognize those concerns, but in reality, those who personify church ministries have heavy load, so they have different areas, but those who only focus on Bible translation look at it as the only thing that should be focused on. But what we learned, or what I can share from Ethiopian experiences, churches are interested to participate and engage in Bible translation. And what we learn from the Ethiopian experience is really church engagement works. Churches are interested, and they can make a difference. And the fact that we used local churches as an entry point in all communities was one of the strengths of this partnership, whether it is in the World for the World or in the Bible Society. That means the engagement of church was very positive. By the way, in our context, when we talk about engagement of church, we are talking about evangelical church as well as Catholic church and also Orthodox church. There are areas where the host is Orthodox church, which is not easy, okay? These were people who looked upon evangelicals as heretics in the past, you know, some years back. Now, because of this partnership, there is an opportunity to work together. So engagement of church is very important. It has worked and it continues to work because it's an important strategic entry point to the community, wherever it is, in north, east, or south. So it's a very important tool. And if the churches are properly engaged, they can really make a positive and very important contribution. But the key to all that is really fraternity, being on equal footing, listening to each other with humility, and being able to respect each other and avoiding unnecessary and unhelpful competition and organizational politics.
Another question from the room.
Thank you, Dr. Tesfaye. It's a privilege for me to hear from you. I think one thing I wanted to maybe hear is, as many organizations and churches came along together to engage in the translation work, how has their collaboration also been seen in the scripture engagement after the translations? Some of them have been completed or somehow progressed. How have their collaboration also been used in making sure the translations are utilized well?
Thank you very much. So, yes, there are experiences where the translation was done and it was not used by a certain group. That's why, when everybody's together, what is produced will be used by every group, whether Orthodox or Catholic or Protestants. So when we talk about scripture engagement, starting from the beginning, bringing everybody together and using as an entry point a local church which has majority in that area will always help in the scripture engagement, that is the use of what's produced. If that's not done, then there are some examples where a New Testament was translated by a certain group, and then others were reluctant and not ready to use it. Actually, they have labeled it, oh no, this is yours, it doesn't belong to us. There were examples of that, and but when we are together, when it was planned from the beginning, with the community and with the churches, with everybody together, then it's easier for the product to be used by everybody naturally because it belongs to them. Even more than that, in one of the slides, you see the traditional leaders coming and embracing and boasting about the Bible, the New Testament celebration, because it's their language. They are proud that they have a Bible in their language. They don't read it, but it speaks their language. So that means if it's owned, it will be accepted not only by the churches, even by those who are in the community. And this has happened many times, especially in the periphery. That's why it becomes a public event in Ethiopia, where for centuries the Protestants and Evangelicals were a minority.
Is there another question that anyone would like to ask? I think I'm still interested in this fraternity idea, and you talked about how the very different churches came together and were able to work without sort of putting aside their personal agendas. And what were some of the practical things that you did to enable people to come together as a fraternity that maybe other people could learn from?
Yeah, again, this is an area where, okay, when we talk about partnership, we always talk about partnership. And when we talk about partnership, we may not usually talk about paternalism or hegemony, which comes with it. We all know it. And one of the blessings in Ethiopia is that people are ready to talk about fraternity, fraternal partnership, and they are interested in neutralizing paternalism or hegemony, whatever sort it comes, whether it's the church or in the community. So that's an important input. And in partnership, we all know there is it's possible that paternalism could endanger a partnership. But when there is fraternity, when there is putting ourselves on equal footing, then that really helps. That means everybody will accept each other. And the way that partnership is introduced, if it's really something which is welcoming, and then if there is really a system where everybody can own that process and be part of it and also own it, then it's not something which is very far. It's something which can be. It is part of human nature. So that's why the word fraternal partnership, not partnership, fraternal partnership, where all of us are in the same and equal footing. We all know the power dynamics. We all don't often talk about it, you know, because when you talk about it, we can offend somebody, and it's not comfortable area. But when you know, when we really talk about fraternity, we are all putting ourselves in the same shoes. I don't want to simplify it. I'm not saying it's easy. Yes, there are minds, there are difficulties, there are challenges, there are painful experiences, so on and on. Okay, it goes on, but still, you know, rather than focusing on those, then if we can really find an area where we can work together for equal ground, that's what helps. As we all know, in areas there are few who will always see a problem. Okay, maybe it's usually say 20%, but we need to work with those who are ready to go ahead and really embrace on moving forward from the same background. So yeah, that's it's not difficult. It's something which can be done, but it needs, as we just said repeatedly, humility, transparency. After all, we claim to be disciples of Jesus Christ, and that's what we are supposed to do. And if that's the case, then it's possible. We can have genuine fraternal partnership.
Thank you so much, Tesfaye. Let's just show our appreciation again. We're get inspired by your passion for fraternity among those who are working together in Bible translation. Thank you so much. Please find your next session you'd like to go to.